If there isn't discipline, how can there be the true realization of an ideal? Miyamoto Musashi. That is a great point. That is why our discipline is 10 to 15 minutes each and every day reviewing these markets, practice trading at every opportunity available. And I want you to stick with it, folks. You can do this. Just stay with us, practice trade, think about these things, and learn to follow the trends. That's all we do. And remember, it's just a binary decision. Is the stock or ETF going up or down? Yes, as you get into this, you realize it is harder than it first seems. But again, it is something you can do, particularly when you are using these 3 time frame charts like we have before you today and following, again, a stock or ETF that is trackable and that you can follow and jump in. I'll show you some real trades I've been doing over the last few weeks. And I won't, maybe tomorrow I'll pull up some of the options trades that I've done here. All of them successful over the last couple of weeks. And I'll show you sort of what I do on my own, in addition to, of course, bringing you this show every day. I love trading. I trade with real money. I'm not encouraging you to do that, encouraging you to practice trade, figure this out, and only after you have mastered practice trading and fractional trading would you ever consider using any of your own money. And then you make up your own mind. You don't listen to what anybody else says. You want to be a master before you start throwing any money at anything. Otherwise, like Vegas, the house will always win. Let's jump into these charts and see where we are going. We see that stocks and bonds are down. Gold is up a little bit. Bitcoin is up some. As we look at the 3 time frame chart, we can, of course, see, and if you look, you can see where the S&P peaked all the way back on the week beginning the 30th of January. Look at that high volume, look at the peak, and then look how everything slowed down. And of course, you could really see it coming on February 13 that week. And then, of course, started rolling over, heading down. Now, we're still waiting to see if we're going to penetrate this 30-period exponential moving average. It's trying, and we will see if it's going to actually do that. Again, down 0.37% for the day. It is going in the right direction. We will see if things will continue to push down. When we look at where the volume is here, that looks good. You can see where it peaked up in the morning and again down in the afternoon. So things look okay as we look at things on Tuesday. Again, as we are pushing through on Tuesday, sliding sideways and then down on Wednesday. So we still have 2 trading days left this week. We'll see how things continue to move. Now let's look at the NASDAQ 100. This is where I'll share a little bit with you as to where I am. I am in a PSQ trade. I got in toward the end of this last week. PSQ is the inverse for the NASDAQ 100. It is moving in the right direction. You can see where I set my profit and loss bands. I set them at 1 ATR on the 2-day chart. So that was somewhere around the 51 mark. Let's see, 51.51. You can see how I set that up, 0.51 ticks. Willing to take a loss of 3.78% on that trade. Hopefully make a gain of 3.78%, sell half the position and let the rest of it ride. What am I watching closely here? Well, what any person would try to do. Are we going to see any resistance as we move up toward the 30-period exponential moving average? We're moving in the right direction. Slowly are we moving up. We moved up and then slid sideways, moved up and then down a little bit, and then we're trying to track up again. We do have, now I'm going to switch back over from the short chart just because I like to use for training the actual underlying chart, which is the NASDAQ 100 QQQ. But what we, of course, see happening, as you can see, where we're touching that 30 period, I keep wanting to say 30 day, 30 periods, 30 week, EMA, Are we going to be able to push through that? I am hoping so, and we will wait, watch, and see again. As we look at the volume, things are looking fine. Would like to see the volume higher on the weekly. Still have 2 days to go, so we'll see how that continues to track. If this candle will get a little bigger, a little further down, but things moving in the right direction, I'm fine. We'll continue to watch this and pace it as we go. And of course, you might say, well, Tom, if you look, very similar to the S&P 500, saw where things peaked out here. And then, of course, we saw where volume stabilized again, the candle got smaller and the lower highs appeared. And then, of course, we had things move over that following week. Everything tracking with the right kind of volume. So we'll continue to wait, watch, and see how this develops. Now, let's look at where we are with 20-year bonds, because likewise, I'll show you where I am in a trade that I've already completed half of successfully. I started off back, we'll look at, and I again set everything up as per. I've overlaid two charts here for you, so you have to see the smaller one underneath at the beginning, and that one I set up my profit and loss band based upon a 60 ticks, which was a potential loss of 2.81, a potential gain of 2.81%. I hit that rather quickly. And then I sold half my position and I let the rest of it ride, and it has been riding quite well. I tell you all the time, what do you need to do? Well, you want to, of course, cut your losses and you want to ride your profits. That is what I'm doing. How long will I let this ride? Until it's not working. So far, it's working. It was up for the day. 1.12%. So that's not bad. Moving in the right direction overall. It's up, over 5%? So I'll have to look to see actually how many percent it is. More than that, maybe 6%. If I ride it all the way to the end, it'll be up, you can see at the top here, 9.72% on the other half of my trade. Now again, you don't have to bifurcate your trades like I do. I like to take some profit and then let the rest of it ride. So if it does snap back against me and really hammers down, I'm playing with the market's money. I'm not losing anything if I then have to pull the trade. So I like that. I like to let the profits run. That is something that I have been doing. I've been in this trade since back the week starting the 6th of February. Again, I try to trade all of these 5 ETFs that we follow so that I'm able to actually be in the market and give you guys, I would think, more market-based advice as to, really being in a trade and watching these things run. So that is where I am on 20-year bonds. I'd like to see them just keep on hammering down. And again, I do love this chart. I love the way that you can watch things peak and again see them roll over and accelerate down, be able to follow it on the same screen at the same time with the half day, the 2 day, and the weekly. It works quite well. Let's move on to gold, up for the day 0.58%. Now again, we can see where gold is slowing down right here for 2 weeks now on this 30 EMA. Now that is on the weekly chart. We look where things are on the 2 day. I can blow that up for you. Here we go. And you can see where lots of red candles, and then this latest one, we have a green spinning top. And look, hardly any price movement in the candle itself, but a lot of back and forth and high volume above the average. What is that telling us? Well, it's telling us that there's a lot of buying and selling, but not a lot of price movement. Are we finding a stopping point here? We may be. And again, if we are, what does that mean? Does that mean just digesting some gains, getting ready to go down again? Will the market maker, again, test the bottom to see how much more they can get people to sell? Or are they in a phase right now where they are gathering ETF, shares into their warehouse, getting ready to see gold move up? You know, we've already seen on the half-day chart how it has been moving up, not reflected, of course, on the 2-day because it is a bigger chart showing you almost a doji there, and we see where things are stalling on the weekly. So, and look at this, we're right up on the weekly trend line. Haven't pushed through it yet, but right up there on it. So we will keep a close eye on what's going on gold and see if gold is going to bounce off this, go back to green candles, and give us the ability to jump into a practice trade on gold. Remember, not a stock calling service, not giving you market advice. Sometimes I tell you what I'm up to, but I'm not telling you in any way what to do or making any recommendations. What's going on Bitcoin? Up for the day 1.43%. You've heard me complain about Bitcoin. This is a sloppy looking trend line. You can see where it's been penetrated back up through. Look how flat it is. Not the kind of trend line I want to see. I want to see one that's moving up nice and clean. We see where it has topped out. And again, are we getting ready to roll back over on Bitcoin? Is it gathering up some steam to move up again? Don't know. But you can see where it's been around that price point it is right now, going all the way back to the week beginning the 23rd of January. So maybe that's just all sort of gearing down and it's going to roll over, but I don't see anything happening hard here. So we'll keep our eye on things. That is where we are as we go through the markets here on this Wednesday. We always love to hear from you. Don't hesitate to reach out to us, cw@chartingwealth.com. Let me know what you think about these new charts. And Patreon members, I'm going to give you a couple of treats this week. I'm about ready to record the Charting Cryptos and Commodities. And then I'm going to record for you, Patreon members, what I call my purple charts. These are some charts that I'm looking at when it comes to potential developing trades. And I will talk you through those. These are potential weekly vertical crossovers up or down. We'll see how that goes, and I'll help you follow that. And just another little treat, if you're not a Patreon member and would like some more in-depth information, please follow the link in the show notes. You can find those in the show notes if you're a subscriber at the YouTube channel or at chartingwealth.com. We appreciate the Patreon support. God bless. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth.